Hi everyone, Dr. Richard Tran here from Color Chiropractic in Bellingham, Washington. I'm really excited to be able to conduct this interview. I have my friend and colleague here, Carrie Viens. And the thing that you don't know about Carrie, we've been friends for years, and we've also worked together with a variety of different clients. I really like Carrie partially because of her knowledge, but she really walks her talk when it comes to helping people figure food out, when it comes to helping them customize a healthy nutrition plan for themselves and implement lifestyle changes that will affect the rest of their life. She's got different degrees in terms of integrative nutrition. She's got some. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that background as well, Carrie.
Sure. I graduated from the Institute for Integrative Nutrition and am board certified as a nutritional health coach. I also have a master's degree in adult education, so that helps a lot when it comes to teaching people.
Yeah. I think the teaching element is definitely the best part because I've heard Carrie on a number of different interviews, and just really helping to hear the knowledge and depth that she has. So I'm really excited to be able to go through some of this material. Now, let me give you kind of the lowdown. We covered this a little bit, but some of the different clients that we're actually treating have undergone a detoxification program.
Great.
Dr. Sue and I have been doing it ourselves. You can either do a 10 or 28-day detox. Lots of different things. And honestly, I've actually done this before. But then when it came to the end of the program, I just went back to my lifestyle habits and be like, oh, my system's reset. I'm feeling better. But then it just goes back. And then we're doing another detox program. So what I really wanted to do with the time that we had was pick your brain in terms of different types of things that we can really implement. So I got some different questions here that
Sure.
people have written before that I was wondering. What's the best way to reintroduce foods back into your diet?
The best way to reintroduce foods is really to start slowly.
Okay.
Eat like that first day after. Are you talking about a fast, or you?
No, let's just say we've been doing this detoxification for about 28 days. We've been eliminating a lot of different foods. We've also implemented a lot of lifestyle changes. So here we are coming back into the program, into our normal lives and figuring food out, right? So when it comes to reintroducing certain types of foods, we've eliminated things like wheat, dairy, soy, eggs, some different types of foods there too. So sometimes we don't know whether these have affected us, but how can we reintroduce those foods and kind of go through that discovery process?
Great. So, all of those foods that you just mentioned are potential triggers for a lot of people.
Okay.
So, the way you want to reintroduce them is one at a time.
Okay.
So, let's say you want to reintroduce eggs. You would eat eggs maybe 2 or 3 times a day for 3 days.
Okay.
And see what you notice in your body. Are you feeling tired? Are you having digestive issues? Anything that you feel that's different for you that stands out. It's easy to assume, oh, that's because of XYZ. Maybe I was exercising, maybe I ate something else, maybe just assume that it's a food reaction and that your body is sensitive to that food, and pull it back out for another couple months and then try again to reintroduce it.
I see. Okay.
And so that's how you would reintroduce potentially allergic foods.
So
a food that is really healthy for one person, even if it's a really healthy food, can be poison for another person.
Right. And speaking of some foods that we used to eat, and those guilty pleasures, what are some of the strategies that you implement with your clients when it comes to avoiding temptation?
That's tricky because you really have to know your body.
Right.
So I guess the biggest tip from me would be, if you're craving the food, if the food is not neutral for you, meaning that you could take it or leave it, and you find yourself just absentmindedly eating it, that's sort of an aha that I'm probably reacting to this food. or
Because it's like automatic
or
pilot.
it's an addictive food. So
Okay.
any food that has been ground into a fine white powder, so we're talking flours, we're talking sugar, are potentially really addictive. And about a third of our population really doesn't have an addiction to food. They don't react to food that way. But 2/3 of the population does.
Yeah.
So if you're one of those people and you're highly susceptible to addictive foods, then if you pay attention, you'll be able to tell. It's, food is meant to nourish our bodies. It's not meant to soothe emotions or distract us from boredom or from, feeling hurt or angry. So if we're using foods in those ways, it's another aha moment. It's an indication that we need to take a deeper dive, about another look into how we're using food.
If we flip that over on the other end, I mean, could it serve just as much for foods that really serve you? Where you find, do you work with the clients kind of finding out, well, I really feel a lot better when I'm actually taking this. I really need this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So foods that are going to help you feel better are lots of non-starchy veggies like broccoli. Broccoli has sulforaphane in it. So if you think, food can cause inflammation, and inflammation does a lot of things in our body. Food can also provide antioxidants that calm inflammation.
Okay.
So every meal you eat can be either inflammatory or anti-inflammatory. So broccoli has sulforaphane that helps eliminate everyday toxins in our lives because we can't escape them. They're part of our lives. We get them, when we drive a car, when we fill our tank with gas, when we're out walking on the street. So it's not always about food.
Gotcha.
But the food helps to bind and eliminate those toxins, which helps with your detox. So you're detoxing every day. So after you've come off of a detox, what can you do? You can eat, non-starchy fruits and vegetables.
Right.
And some starchy as well.
Because that'll just feed into the process. It'll just bind to those toxins and take them out of your body.
Right.
Too.
And then they'll give you the vitamins and nutrients you need to heal your body. And it's a continual process. It's not just, we don't detox once. We detox all the time.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Another question here. Is it okay to have a cheat meal every once in a while? What do you think? What's your opinion on that?
Okay, so everybody's different.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So for some people that works really well. And they can, and by cheat meal, we just mean maybe you have a little bit more calories, maybe you're eating more high carb veggies. When I say cheat meal, I'm not talking about things like flour and sugar, which are potentially really triggers for people. But let's say you do eat that. Once in a while, it's not, well, it depends on how addictive you are to that substance. So sometimes one little bit of sugar can actually trigger a huge reaction that can take somebody months to get off of sugar again. So it just depends on how susceptible you are.
Right.
If you're the type of person who can eat a little bit of sugar and then the next day you're fine, then it's not going to be an issue for you. But if you eat some sugar and then you find out the next day that your brain is going, I want more sugar, I want more sugar, I want more of that.
Yeah, it's kind of like an addiction. I mean, it is a food addiction,
And it's going to trigger your brain to say, can I have more of that? And you're going to start thinking about it more frequently. So if you're thinking about food, if you're wanting to go drive across town to get something you really like, those are all indications that a cheat day might not be helpful for you.
Right.
But you can cheat in other ways. Like I said, you can have more fruit. Maybe you can have a date and enjoy a date if you want something sweet, which is a whole food, as opposed to a processed food or sugar.
Wonderful. So last question I would say is, what are some of the best things that we can do in terms of implementing permanent lifestyle changes?
Eat whole foods. Eat lots of color. avoid the processed foods, especially processed meats, because those highly processed foods are going to have they're going to create a lot of inflammation in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And then eat whole foods.
Mm.
You know, if you're craving something sweet, you know, have a date or a piece of fruit or, you know, something whole. If, you know, and just pick a lot of colors when you go grocery shopping. Look for all the colors of the rainbow in your fruits and veggies, and that's going to give you the antioxidants that you're going to need to recover. Avoid fried foods. That's very inflammatory inducing. Rancid oils, like if something tastes rancid, that's creating a lot of free radicals in your body.
Mm-hmm.
So
wonderful.
Yeah, eat whole foods.
Yeah.
Lots of colors.
Yeah, great,
Lots of colors.
Great. Well, I hope that you guys have gotten as much as I have just in terms of this interview. Carrie, with the last minutes that we have, how do we find out more about you and some of your work?
You can actually go to my website. It's www.carrievien.com. Carrie, V as in Victor, IE, N as in Nancy, S as in Sam. You can also email me, carrie@carrievien.com. You can schedule a free session with me and get to know me in person, and we can find out how exactly I can help you.
Yep. And you provide online learning as well, too.
I do.
Okay.
I do online. I do in person.
Okay.
As
Cool.
I can.
Cool. Great. Well, it's been a wonderful interview. I'm so glad that you've given us the opportunity to really work with you, and I know that we'll continue to work with somewhat more together with other patients.